There is no mystery anymore. And I always say that for a woman or a man, mystery is very important. You cannot be an open book. I love your collection. The
Thank you.
Resort 2021 is fabulous. That's why you are here.
It's pressure. But you know, it's funny, we don't talk about, this is the first time we've talked about fashion.
Yes.
Truly.
When we are together, we don't talk about fashion at all. So, how would you describe fashion?
It's art that you live in, right? It's something that you dream,
Yeah.
but that it becomes a part of your life, and it can change your life.
I think fashion is for your eye. It's to please your eye. That's why I say that you have to have your eyes trained to look for beauty.
Quest for beauty and design and fashion applies to so many other things. It's the arrangement of flowers, it's a dinner, it's friends, it's your home. And I think that's what's an incredible thing about you as a designer, is that message.
Why do you think they call fashion magical? Because it is.
I agree with you. And I think
And you
now
have-
we need that magic more than we've ever needed.
You have to dream. You have to
Yep.
be dreaming, but the dream has to become reality. Fashion is for your everyday life too.
Yeah.
It's not only for a big occasion.
No, I agree. But sometimes good fashion can make a little occasion into an important occasion.
I know that fashion has to have madness too.
Well, I like that. What do you mean?
Madness. I mean, craziness.
We get so distracted by the things that are scary and dark and bad. And I think that, you know, fashion can be a beautiful reminder that it's okay to smile and that it's another day and it's beautiful and there's a lot of beauty.
That's what you do, the collections that you're doing, they're happy. And they're full of color. Color is global. It's everywhere in the world.
Do you like that the two of us are sitting here talking about color while we're both wearing black? Color is more important than ever. And I feel like colors have emotions, right? A color is either a happy color or a sad color. And you
Yes.
know right away.
Which color do you like the best?
Oh, that's a very hard question.
Uh-huh.
Just universally, I would say maybe like a beautiful sky blue.
Well, I like yellow, the sun.
I think of yellow, black, and white as very Herrera, always.
That's why in the first perfume, the box was the polka dots in black, and then it had a yellow ribbon.
A good fragrance is magical.
It is magical. It gives you a little bit of your own style.
It's like an invisible accessory.
Exactly.
Fashion is an incredible journey. It starts as a
Yes.
sketch or an idea or an inspiration that you see in a film or a painting. It's a long process, and I wonder what part of that process brought you the most satisfaction?
The most satisfaction
Yeah.
is when you see the process is finished and you see a lot of women wearing that dress. It's the best.
And looking good in it, hopefully.
Yes.
It is really exciting to go to a party. What's most exciting is when it's a stranger. When you go into a room and you see someone wearing one of those
It's
pieces.
stranger. I have a good story about it. I was at the opera with my first collection, sitting up in the boxes upstairs, and suddenly I look like this and I see a fabulous woman wearing an evening gown with a marabou cape to the floor, mine.
Amazing.
I almost jumped on her. Hey! I almost told her, that's mine.
Mrs. Herrera, what is cool for you?
It's a glass of water with lots of ice.
Sitting in your house in New York. What is New York to you? What is this magical
New York
city?
for me is the most amazing place. Arriving in New York is like plugging yourself in electricity. I remember my first collection was amazing because I didn't know anything about it. You know, I thought it was something else.
What do you mean you thought it was something else?
I mean, I had never done a show myself.
Right.
But I had never done anything that so glamorous outside and so much work in the back.
This was at the Metropolitan Club.
At the Metropolitan Club,
1981.
1981, there was Diana, of course, in the front seat, and Steve Rubel, who was the owner of 54, who was a very good friend of mine, and they didn't allow him in the show because he didn't have a tie. So he went to Bird of Goodman and got a tie and came back.
That's a good friend.
That was fun.
To me, as someone looking back, that seems like it must have been the most thrilling, exciting, creative time in New York. And the people you were with,
was.
Diana Vreeland, Andy Warhol, I mean, the creativity, the energy of this city must have been amazing.
We used to go to Studio 54, and we used to find Andy, and then a fantastic writer or a great painter or a wonderful photographer there.
You have a beautiful Andy Warhol portrait.
It's the funniest story about Andy and myself and that portrait. You know, Andy was very taken by jewels. He loved jewels. And we were very good friends. And we were sitting at a dinner party. And Ronaldo had given me a Van Cleef Minaudière. Andy sitting next to me. And suddenly he said, shall I paint you and you give me the Minaudière? And I say, Andy, yes, let's do it. He said, come to the factory. He took like 50 Polaroids. And he gave me the painting. And I gave him my Minaudière.
Did Ronaldo
And Ronaldo said, at one point, why don't you wear the bag that I gave you? And I say, I have news for you.
Where do you look for beauty in New York?
You don't have to look for a special place for beauty. Wherever you are, you just find out where is the beauty here. I go to the Central Park all the time and I find it divine. I mean, there's so many places. The library, the museums, the Met. I love the Met. I think it's fabulous.
You've probably been to almost every Met Gala since they first started.
I have been since the beginning when Diana was doing the galas. That was the most amazing evening.
I don't know that there's anyone with a better collection of portraits than you. You have many from Mapplethorpe.
He was a great friend. And then he asked me once, I would like to photograph you. And I say, no, we are in vacation. What a bore to have to be posing and being photographed. I don't like these things. And he said, please let me do it because I'm going to be very famous and you're going to regret it that you don't have one photo of me.
He said that?
Yes. I don't mind the photograph. You know that when I walk in the streets and somebody comes and say, can I take a photograph with you? And they take the selfie and I say, I don't do selfies because they embrace you immediately. And I don't mind to be photographed by everyone. I mean, why not? I don't mind it at all, but I do mind the selfies.
You're not wearing sweatpants
The moment,
all day long.
no, I'm not wearing sweatpants. I never did. That's a trend that I don't like.
Do you own sweatpants?
No. No.
Yeah,
But is that
so.
bad? Everybody gets so nervous in the shows, in the backstage. And I used to see all these people jumping around and looking. I said, why are you so nervous? Let me tell you something. We're making dresses. It's only dresses. And if they don't work, we make another one. So calm down.
It sounds very common sense, but I think you saying that is very rebellious and revolutionary. I mean, it's keeping a perspective and a reminder that life is bigger than that little box we're looking in.
Absolutely, but you have another life. If you are a designer, only thinking about you are a designer and dresses and dresses and dresses, there is another life too, and you have to live it. I was lucky because I was brought up in a house where the women were very well dressed. When I was growing up, I didn't know about fashion. I went to visit my grandmother in Paris, and she didn't know where to leave me that moment, and she took me to the Balenciaga show with her when I was 13 years old. I didn't even know what was going on there. My thing in life were my horses and my dogs. Nothing about fashion, nothing.
When I think of you and I think of Mr. Herrera, I think of dancing and a beautiful meal and friendship and life and living fully, I think is important.
Yes, and with your eyes open and always looking for beauty.
Yeah.
It all depends of what beauty means for you.
I only want to be surrounded by things that are beautiful and objects that tell a story, and Carolina Herrera makeup, I think, does that. Each item is an exceptional little objet.
We are very, very careful to make them look exactly like the house.
Why do you think lipstick is important?
For me it is, because I can't go out with no makeup. But with lipstick, I feel fantastically well. And look at this beauty.
You know what this is? The zebra is your table from your office. Look what I found. You just have them everywhere in your house, Mrs.
I
Herrera?
have it everywhere in my house next to each chair because I love it.
This is the famous Good Girl bottle.
This is the Good Girl bottle.
And how did you design this bottle? Because this was before I met you. This was before I came to Herrera.
I love shoes.
I've heard.
And I love high heel shoes. I was in a taxi the other day and the man said, what are you wearing? And I say something called Good Girl. Where can I get it? Because I'm going to get it for my wife.
Well done.
And so you say, oh, this is perfect. Because another time I was sitting in a taxi wearing something else at the beginning of my life. And he must say, lady, can you open the window because I'm busy?
You read it every day?
Yes.
How do you find books? You go to the bookshop on the corner bookstore?
I do.
And you
Yeah.
discover them in person shopping?
Yes, I love to go.
You like historical books. You like history.
Well, yes,
Yeah.
I love history. My favorite fashion time in the
Okay,
world
yeah,
is
what?
18th century. Because they had a designer called Rose Bertin,
Okay.
who used to design for Marie Antoinette and all that. And they used to change fashion every week.
What have you been watching?
Oh, if I tell you, you won't believe it.
I know, I was trying to think of a chic answer for you, but is your answer not?
My answer?
Uh-huh.
You're going to love it. I love Steve Harvey and Family Feud.
I was sitting here so stressed trying to think of something very intellectual to tell you, and you like Family Feud. I think if a lot of people were to close their eyes and think of Carolina Herrera, they think of a perfect white cotton shirt.
I love a white cotton shirt. Yes. And I think I've been wearing cotton shirts all my life.
How do you think you learn good taste? Where does it come from? Do you think some people are just born more stylish?
I think so. It's inside them. I think some people are more stylish than others, but it's very difficult to describe it. Some people have it and some people don't, and the ones that don't, it's not a tragedy either. It doesn't matter. You
Yes.
have to experiment
You have to
with
laugh.
a little bit of bad taste.
Yeah.
As Diana Brillan used to say, a little bit of bad taste is like putting some
Paprika,
paprika on the food. Just a little bit.
Yeah, it makes
of
it
bad
taste, it makes it more interesting.
Yes.
Life
It
can be
makes
boring
it
otherwise.
different.
Yeah.
I don't have any advice for Wes because he knows everything. He knows everything. He doesn't.
Oh, God.
He doesn't need any
Oh, my God,
of my
he's so
advice. Maybe I need some from him.
Absolutely not. When I started at Herrera, the first day I came to meet you, I don't know if you remember this, I was so scared. I was so nervous.
Why
so
were you
nervous.
scared of me?
Because you're Carolina Herrera. There's a very special place in my heart for the house you built and you. I have total respect for the house and the codes of the house. I feel like the luckiest person in the world that I get to work at Carolina Herrera.
I think we are the luckiest to have you. I have to say that when you came in,
Oh,
you
you
were
remember?
scared of me. Of course I do remember. But I have to tell you that I was so lucky that you came to work for us.
It's because I truly love what you built. The ingredients to work with are incredible.
That is the key of success of Carolina Herrera.
Thank
And
you.
it's in your hands. And it has been, how long? 39 years.
39, it'll
maybe.
be 40 next
It's
year.
going to be 40 years.
Congratulations.
But the one who really helped me to be in this business was Diana Brillan, because I went to her to tell her the idea that I had for designing materials.
Right.
And she, in her way of doing, say, what a boring idea. Which I loved it. And I said, you think it's boring? She said, why don't you do a collection? I have worked very hard to build the house, but with a lot of help. You cannot do it on your own. You can have the most amazing ideas, but in a fashion house, if you don't have a team to execute
Totally.
it, you are nowhere.
That's what strikes me always about Herrera is that it's a family business in every sense of the word.
Because you have to have a company, but treating them like a family, because you are with them all day.
Yeah.
You're working together, and they still are my family.
The team you built, the atelier, the pattern makers are incredible. I think the sketch is 10%
Yeah.
of the process. The rest of it is in their hands. And the craft that goes into the leather and these bags.
All the bags are very beautifully done.
Over your career, you've done the right things at the right times. So you've done fragrances.
The first fragrance was something that I mixed myself. That is jasmine and tuberose. I went to Barcelona for the first try of the smell of the fragrance that had to be like mine.
You're trying to match the jasmine and
Exactly.
tuberose.
And they give you, things to smell. But there were many, 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 and kept smelling and smelling. And suddenly I did like that, boom! And I fainted on the floor.
I love jasmine.
Jasmine, because I love jasmine all my life, and tuberose, and the combination is fantastic.
You have an eye that's incredible, and that's what everyone's always said about you when you read things about Mrs. Herrera. It's that She looks at something and can right away, yes or no.
When I like it, I tell you immediately. And if I don't like it, out. No, but I think fashion is difficult. And I tell you a story when I went to Halston, who was a great friend. And I say, Halston, I'm going to become a fashion designer. What have you been drinking?
No.
He said. But the most important in a fashion designer is to have your own style. You have to have individuality, even if the press doesn't like it or don't understand it.
Do you always read your reviews?
Always. I'm not going to lie to you. I always did. Always read the reviews, and sometimes I agree with them, and sometimes I say they're totally insane seeing the collection that way.
I think any designer who says they don't read their reviews is lying.
True.
They're
That's
totally
not true.
lying.
They're lying.
Totally.
You read everything
Absolutely.
that you are involved in. And your
Absolutely.
name is in it.
So what makes you think a collection is successful or not successful? Is it if you love it the next day, or?
No, it's not because you love it. The customer is the one who tells you the collection is successful or not. I design for the millions of women that I want to wear a Herrera.
I have a question. What would you say to me or anyone who's a designer about, I think one of the hardest things about it being a designer is knowing when to listen to yourself or when to listen to someone else.
You have always to listen to yourself first. You are the one who are producing the style. So you have to listen to yourself and what is inside you and what do you think, and your eye. Because it's your eye who's going to tell you what to do.